guys, it's Tim Kulig from the Tim Kulig Free Music Podcast, and it is, my God, it's July 3rd already? My God, half the year is over? It's insanity. Absolute insanity. I'm going to be traveling for a few days, so I'm trying to cram in a quick little update, and didn't want to miss anybody. I don't really like to do bye weeks if I don't have to, and I like to keep this thing moving. So, couple quick updates. I've got Simplicity out now. Technically, it comes out the 10th, but as you know, I always do sneak peeks for people on the website. So that's been doing well. I've had some positive reviews on that. In addition to that, I had just in the tank behind it a bunch of 8-bit video game tunes, which I was kind of pawing around with. They were like a lot of little ideas, and suddenly I just kind of got hyper focused on it and did an export of all of them and did one of my walking mornings where I put in like 3-4 miles of walking and literally cleaned it up. Made myself some notes, came back to the studio, and boom, I'm like, here's 10 more. So between those two albums, that brings me up to a count of 840 tunes, which is pretty freaking cool, because if I can get close to 900 by the end of September, there's a good chance that I'm going to hit that mark that I set for myself at the beginning of the year. It's really weird. Like, you constantly have to remind yourself of these milestones and kind of be your own cheerleader and be like, all right, well, you've been kind of slacking for a few weeks, or, you know, you've been putting down ideas and ideating and everything, and now it's time to hyper focus and get a compilation together. So waxing and waning between those things is sometimes a challenge, but I feel like it's pushing forward. I'm almost at the double-digit mark of compilation releases so far for the year. And once I kind of get over that hump, it feels like it's almost like releasing a floodgate. It's like, oh, I did 10, I can do 20, 30, blah. I mean, it seems ridiculous. Some people don't release more than, 5 albums in their lifetime. It's just, from when it comes to production music, that's just not a thing, Like, it's literally somebody's going to come down the pipeline and be like, hey, I need synthwave, or I need this, or I need that. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm inspired for that right now. Let's go. Let's make it happen. So with that end, behind it, I still have a pan drum album I'm trying to put together. Olivia, I haven't forgotten you about that. And I have 5 tracks, but my thing is literally, I want to make sure I do albums of 8 or more if possible. It feels like the most productive for me in the sense of putting together a compilation and everything. Every once in a while, I'll do like an EP, like 5 tracks for like a jazz album or something like that. For me, that's kind of a cool milestone. These 8s, they feel good, I guess. I don't know. You gotta do whatever is gonna like bring the excitement up to another level. So it's a pan drum album, Complexity. So that's another meditation album. That one I had, I think, again, like another 5 tracks. Wasn't enough to release another thing. I wanted to do at least 10. And I was finding myself bogged down in that because I pushed out the Simplicity one, and the Complexity I want to have a little different flavor, but I didn't want to rush anything. So I kind of had to pull back on that, which is why I switched gears to the 8-bit stuff. But there's some guitar related albums coming out. Standard rock, maybe 70s, 60s, even like metal. I haven't done a metal album in a couple of years. That'll be fun. Some kid spooky stuff for Halloween. I usually do some really scary stuff that's like, you don't want to be in a dark room for it. I'm trying to do like one that's light, so it's kid friendly and a little more, a little more Tim Burton type of, spookiness as opposed to pure horror and terror. And also podcast beds. I've been talking about that for months, and I just haven't brought myself to switching the mindset to quick intros, outros, beds, that kind of thing. So I got to think about some of the genres to make that stuff in. You guys got any suggestions? Please, in the comments or literally just send me a note, timkuligfreemusic@gmail.com. I'd be happy to include, because there's a bunch of people out there that use my stuff that do podcasts. So I want to make sure that, I'm writing the stuff that you need. And that, to that end, I've got a project coming up too that's going to get in front of all this stuff that is for Cameron over at Observable Radio. So this month, Cameron, like I emailed you recently, we're gonna hammer down that intro and get you all set up. I'm excited to explore that. Hopefully I can get you something that works. In regards to the movie stuff, Video Dreams is doing amazing. This is our latest doc, me and Tom Seymour, and it is doing a phenomenal job in the festival circuit. We have like a very ambitious thing going on with it. We've put it into close to 100 festivals between now and April, May of next year. And it's got like an 80% acceptance rate so far, which is, I mean, it's incredible to have that kind of acceptance for a movie. And we've barely touched the surface. I think we've only hit maybe 15, 20% of the cycle so far. And to get 80% in that and then have 8 wins to boot, like that's just like, it's definitely resonating with an audience and with the people judging it and whatever. Kudos to that. And so we're excited about that. We'll keep updating you on that. There's a couple really big festivals coming up in the fall that we've got our fingers crossed to the point of arthritis. So hopefully we get in and yeah, we'll keep you updated on that. But very exciting, very fun. And Tom and I will be creating some ideas for what the next big project's going to be so as we go through the festival run. And as we're finishing up this pilot project that we're working on that we can't really talk about yet, but we actually have some footage we have to shoot this month. I'm going to see Tom in a couple weeks and we'll get the final finishing touches. Ooh, that was a tongue twister for a second. I'm still trying to wake up. Final finishing touches on all that. So that's exciting too. And very like so much stuff going on. So we got that. We got a couple album releases. We got the podcast music for Cameron. We've got, you know, the finishing touches on the pilot. Then I got Creator Fest in August, which they rebranded and renamed. And for some reason, I don't have it in front of me, but it's close to that. It'll be the year 2 iteration of it out in Orlando. Very excited to see that. Very excited to get some additional new information. I've implemented a bunch of the things from last year, but technology moves super, super fast. And this is an example right here, Riverside. This isn't something I was using at this point last year. And every time I go to one of these things, there's just, even if I walk away with 1, 2, 3 things and some connections, it's worth every penny you spend at them because it literally just like pushes you forward light speed and keeps you on the cutting edge of the tech that's out there. So really important to, I don't know, educate yourself. Like it's a lifelong journey. It's not I'm done. You know, I know what I'm doing. This industry and everything that I get involved with and I touch with, my hands touch on. I mean, it's constant. It's constantly changing and constantly giving you new tools that help you solve problems and communicate with your audience and with people quicker, more efficiently, especially when you're a one-man show like me. It's really important to keep on the cutting edge and continue to educate yourself pretty much on a daily basis. So I'll have updates for that when I'm out there. I'll hopefully do some live streams, but also do a couple podcast episodes specifically surrounding the information that I learn at that event. And hopefully encourage other people to go to it in the future too. It's really fun and exciting. It's a bit of an investment, but anything worthwhile or worth your business is. So really cool. So with that, I hit with Explorations, which will be out on the 15th. I'll do a sneak peek of it next week on the website. As always, I always release stuff to that, Pixabay, SoundCloud. But Explorations will be on the site probably early next week. And with that album, I've hit 840 tunes. So hitting 900 by the end of September, a very viable and possible scenario. And I'm very excited about that because I needed to hit like the mid 800 milestone around the end of June, knowing that if I do that, then, and I have dozens in the can that are waiting to be polished, finished, you know, final edit, published, blah. I literally have at least another 40, 50 behind that are potential to be finished, polished, and sent off on their way. If they're in, whether or not they're in those genres, another thing entirely. So gonna have to do a lot of ideation this month to get the ball rolling on some of these other genres that I talked about earlier on in the podcast. But also, I feel like if I can hit that milestone or get into like 9 to 925 before the end of September, I got a really solid shot of getting close or just over the 1,000 song milestone by the end of the year. And that's a hell of a thing coming from 727 starting a year. So we shall see. We shall see. Again, everything comes down to quality, comes down to, am I satisfied with it? I mean, I literally, with Heretic, I literally was like, I could separate this out to multiple albums. I could do short form Nightmares and do this or that or whatever. I'm just like, no, this is just going to be a massive, massive compilation. And I kind of liked doing it that way. I don't think I've released an album in a while that had over 20 tracks on it. So that had 24. So that's crazy. But some genre requests I've had recently are like 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s guitar, rock music. So all those different eras and genres. Very excited about exploring that a little bit. Madeline, thanks for the ideas. Madeline over in Enigmatorium was talking about some more obscure music genres for me to explore that she could use in Enigmatorium and other stuff she's doing. So I'm going to look at that. Some organ music. I haven't really focused on that, and those are fun to do too. So yeah, I'm going to jump into that. Maybe even vocals. There's part of me that's been pushing to do tracks that could have vocals, and these rock albums might be a perfect example of something to jump into with vocals and do alternatives. I could do instrumental versions and then also do a vocal version. And I'm thinking about calling those versions throated. So weird. It's just something that has a little bit of a different spin on it, and see if they work. If they don't, it's one of those things, like it's another thing where you're just kind of exposing. You're like, I don't know if anybody's going to like this, but I might try, based on the era and the decade and the style of rock, different voicings and everything. Just another way of exploring the instrument that's your voice. Over the years, I've done different types of singing and stylized speaking and whatever. And we could play around with that and see if it works. And if it doesn't really matter. If it's fun and I get excited about it, I'm definitely going to do it. So, but I'm also wondering if I need to kind of put that as a sidebar, like a different, produce it through DistroKid, but under a different artist title, so that my core is still all the instrumental stuff. So, when you come and look at, listen to my stuff on any platform, that's all the instrumental stuff. But this artist name is when I put vocals into it, or maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. All these things constantly running in the brain, thinking, okay, how are we going to do this? How does this do the most and the best work? And think about what value it would add to the catalog and ultimately to the users, you guys on the receiving end. So that's the thing I have to really explore. I have to explore if it's going to do some good work or if it's just going to be fun, and it's just a fun exploration, and I get a feeling for how people respond to it, So again, when you're in the ideation process of this whole thing, you could torpedo your own ideas or whatever, but as I'm aging, I feel like more and more often I'm like, nah, do you know what? Just do it and have fun and play and see what happens. So I think that's the goal. That's definitely the goal. And then once I hit the 1,000 song portion of this journey, I want to do 2,000-3,000 plus, but I think the emphasis on hitting four-digit catalog size is the big milestone for me. And then as things come in and I feel like they're finished, I don't think there's still going to be an urgency, but not as much as what I'm trying to accomplish this year, which is get over that 1,000 song threshold. I feel like I'd be in a very small group of composer space with that. So I'm excited about it. I'm very excited about it. But this is going to be super short because I got places to be, but I didn't want to forget about y'all. And here I go, showing my new southern roots now. Just saying y'all. In any event, very excited about the third and fourth quarter this year. Hope you are too. Hope you got some fun stuff going on out there. And yeah, please comment on this video and let me know your thoughts about any of the stuff that's coming up and anything musically that you've been looking for in your content, your projects, what have you. I'd be happy to continue that discussion with you, or just let me know in the comments the style of stuff that you'd like to see coming down the pipeline. And again, I'll put it into the workflow and into the queue and see what we can accomplish before the end of the year. But definitely love to hear from you guys and love to hear what your needs are, so that the things that I'm creating and the stuff I'm exploring and experimenting with resonates and rings true with the stuff that you want to create yourself. So awesome. That's pretty much where I'm at this week. Talk to you guys again real soon. Take care.